Get started with our final presentation. Dewey Knight and his group are going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things going on with the class. I got it.
Dr. Showalter is first.
All right, Dr. Mark Showalter.
Thank you.
Well, it's nice seeing all of you, and I'm sure those of you heard me last week. I apologize for the repeat.
I think that we should stand closer over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel a little more like Elvis now. Okay, it's nice to see all of you. Dewey and I talked last week, and he asked me to come in today and spend really just, he said maybe 2 hours tops, and try to focus on, hey, see, some of you are paying attention. I want to see, that's great. Okay, I'm going to be very, very brief. For those of you who don't know me, I have been at the university since the Truman administration, so I've been around for a while, and but I did get a chance to be here when this class was sort of getting on its feet. And Dewey has made the class really something remarkable, and the fact that you're here has been is a big part of that, obviously. And part of what he wanted me just to emphasize again to you is really what's our purpose? What are we here to do? What are we trying to accomplish? And for me, I think the thing that we're hoping to do is to have some influence in the lives of these students and influence in their ability to be successful. And for me, I'm convinced that the best chance I have to have some influence with my students is through my relationship with them. And so I've got to stop and think about, is it my job to teach information, or is it my job to teach students? And we just heard a wonderful presentation about the notion of diversity, which is so critical. And to me, I think at the heart of diversity is that I have a group of individuals in front of me, and I want to know them, and I want to try to have a relationship with them, and I want to try to create a place where they feel safe, to tell their stories, to be themselves, to whatever that may be, and to feel heard. As you said, a place where somebody can listen. Because our students, I think we lose sight of this often, is what an incredibly vulnerable time this is for them. There's so many things that make it vulnerable. They're here away from home for the first time. They're sharing a room with someone for the first time. They're coming up with this whole brand new identity. You know, who I was in high school really doesn't matter now. And how do I find my place? And my support system's not here, and my family's not here. And I've got to figure out how I do that. And I also got to do that all the time without letting anybody know that I'm struggling, because I don't want to look stupid, and I don't want to look different, because that's the worst thing that could ever happen to me. And so I want to remind you of the vulnerability that these students bring to us, and the opportunity that we have to embrace that. And the material in this class is incredibly important. My goodness, this text is remarkable, and I know many of you in here have contributed to that. It's a wonderful, wonderful book, and the stuff that's in there is so valuable to them. It's my contention that these people probably wouldn't be in college if they didn't know how to read. So I'm going to trust that they can get this information. I would say if they leave your class knowing you care about them, you've given them something that's infinitely more valuable, I believe, than any of the information that's in that text. And I know that all of you are going to find your way to approach this class. Everyone's going to find their own unique voice. You're going to find who you are in there and how you do that. But what I would encourage you to try to do is, how do I make sure my students know that I care about them, that I have some empathy for the situation that they're in, that I recognize that this is a vulnerable time, that it's incredibly difficult, that it's scary, that you're trying to find your way, that, maybe you're not having the greatest time of your life. Maybe that everybody else this is working out for them, but it doesn't seem to be working out for you. And to know that it's okay to say that, to know that it's okay to say that to a grown-up person who cares about them and who's aware of what they're doing and who doesn't judge that, who's got time for them. Meeting with them individually is so critical, because you'll see them in a way you won't ever see them again. They'll look different to you because you heard their stories. and you'll understand more about what their fears are. And if you become a place that they feel safe, because they know they can tell you whatever that is, then I think you've really had an opportunity to have incredible influence on that student that doesn't just last one semester. It'll last really the whole time they're at the University of Mississippi, because they know where I can go, where somebody cares about what happens to me. Somebody has some empathy for me. Somebody knows my name. I love, again, that name tense, because you're going to hear your students say, this was the only class where the teacher knew my name. It's a huge thing. Not only be able to pronounce it, even know what the heck it is, and that's huge. And although our students are spending a lot of energy, in fact, I spent most of my energy in my freshman year in college working on being cool, which for me took a lot of energy, and I think a lot of our students are doing that. And so they don't want you to see how big a challenge this is. Carl Rogers said that that which is most personal is most universal. And yet our students are terrified that they're the only ones who feel that way. I'm the only one who's going through this. I'm the only one who's this scared. I'm the only one who feels this stupid. I'm the only one who's got this question. I'm the only one who lost his ID card. I'm the only one who doesn't know how to do his laundry. And the truth is, they're all going through that together. You have a great opportunity to remind them of that, and know that it's okay to ask those questions in your class and do this stuff and make this class different. It's going to be different when they go in there. And if they experience that, then I think you've been successful with them. And again, the time you spend building relationships with your students is never wasted. Never wasted. And you'll get back from that more than you can ever imagine. And when those students know that you care about them, they will work like crazy to please you and do well for you, because they know you care. And that's a huge thing. I'm gonna leave you a little quote from an author that I love, Brene Brown. Many of you probably are very familiar with her. But I love this. It's fixing their problem is often not what your students need, nor is it necessarily your job or even within your ability to do so. Sharing a listening, caring ear is something most people can do. When we feel heard, cared about, and understood, we also feel loved, accepted, and as if we belong. And you have a chance to do that with the students. You have a chance to give them that. If this is your first time to teach this class or the 20th time to teach it, you have it in your power to do that, and that's a huge thing. I appreciate it. I'll see you.
Dr. Ellis is going to share something with us.
Good afternoon. I think I know most people, but if you don't, my name is Kyle Ellis. I'm the director of the Center for Student Success and First Year Experience. So our center oversees EDHE105 and 305. So I'm just pleased that you all are here and teaching our freshmen and our transfer students this year. I know you've been here a long time, so I'll be brief. But what I'm going to say is very important, so please write this down. Everybody look at your books. Dewey said everybody had copies of the textbook. During the first week, or at least the second week by the latest, we really want you to cover 3 key technology components that help our students be successful. They're located on page 120. I'll briefly go through them, but on page 120 you'll see these 3 key components. First week, or by the latest the second week, go over these in class. Take the 5 or 10 minutes out, go over them with your students. If you do not feel comfortable, maybe you're new to teaching 105 or 305, maybe you're new to the university, or maybe you just don't like technology, the first year experience graduate assistant, Kim Nichols, Kim, you'll stand up or wave, or Kim will either come to your class and do the technology 5 to 10 minute presentation, or she will find somebody in the Center for Student Success to come do the 5 to 10 minute presentation again. So we will work on getting somebody there, because that's how important we know these tools are to help our students be successful. And I got Kim's email address here if you want to go ahead and write it down. If you know you're going to be somebody that would like one of us to come to your class. So Kim Nichols, and it's KNICHOL2 at go.olemiss.edu. Again, Kim Nichols, KNICHOL2 at go.olemiss.edu. So the 3 components on page 120, starting out with Blackboard. I don't know if you've been informed or not, but you know, we ask that all instructors use Blackboard, because you're going to use it in this class. It's going to help freshmen and transfers get off on the right foot, knowing how to use it in this class, because guess what? Most other classes that use Blackboard, they don't take time out of the class to say, let's go through Blackboard step by step and show you how to use it. Students are just expected to know. And so this class, we use Blackboard, but we also encourage and instruct students how to use Blackboard. So use Blackboard for the course and the Blackboard app on page 121. Even though it says highly recommended download it, we ask that all instructors require your students to download it. A brief anecdotal example, I taught EDHE101, our freshman on academic probation course a couple of years ago. I entered some grades in on Blackboard. 5 minutes later, I went to class. I was barely in the door. And 3 students came up to me with their smartphone saying, wait, I thought I turned this in, or how'd I only get 5 points? I'm going to take a step back. I'm like, how do y'all know this? They're like, it's on the app. We got a notification. You know, just like us, if students get a push notification, it's personal. It's about them, whether it's an instant message or they're tagged on a post or whatever. If they get a notification on their Blackboard app, it's about their grade, there's something going on, and they check it. And so we want to get them off on the right foot. So in 105, use Blackboard for yourself, for your class, but then also have the students download the Blackboard app on their phone. Second thing is the My Ole Miss account. Everything these students do at the University of Mississippi will be through the My Ole Miss account. I know at orientation they touch on My Ole Miss a little bit, but you know that was months ago, and they were drinking out of a fire hose at orientation. So you guys, as EDHE 105 and 305 instructors, please go through the My Ole Miss portal with them. That's where they find out their holds, their academic advisor information, how to drop a class, just things that can help students be successful on the front end. Again, is definitely a targeted initiative of this course. And then finally, the Ole Miss email account. I know we say check your Ole Miss email, but actually go through, show students where to check their Ole Miss email from the Ole Miss homepage. If you go to IT, information technology, if you go to their website on their help desk, they have a link that shows you how to sync your smartphone with your Ole Miss email account. So, you know, I'm not making them do that, but I would encourage you, if you want to, show them where the Ole Miss email account is located on the homepage, or click on it, get it open, but then also if they're interested, go ahead and sync that Ole Miss email account up to their smartphone. So those 3 things, Blackboard, My Ole Miss, and Ole Miss email are 3 critical components that if we get these students used to using in the first or second week of freshman year, it's going to carry forward with them through the duration of their undergraduate career at the university. If you can do it, great. If you don't want to do it, don't know how, don't feel comfortable, please email Kim and she will come, or have somebody come and do it for you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I don't know everyone in the room. I'm Jennifer Phillips. I also work in the Center for Student Success. I run 2 major things that you'll run into this fall. I run Freshman Attendance-Based Initiative. Basically, we're asking you to report attendance. I'm going to show you how to do that. And I also work with freshman retention, which means I am tracking every freshman all the time for no reason. You guys are frontline professionals where that's concerned. You know your students better than I'll ever know them, just as the person behind the email that asks them why they're leaving or why they've dropped their schedule. So once scheduling starts, you're going to start getting emails from our office just kind of asking you about students who don't have schedules and don't have holds, or letting you know what holds are that they have, and then, you know, how can we help them address them. So please just be aware that that's coming. You know, it's just so important that you get to know your students because they have a story, and we're here to collect it at the very least if we can't help them stay. I'm very interested in the why, not just a student is transferring. Why are they transferring? Are they too far from home? Is it the money? You know, if it's some things we can help with. It's not, you don't have to leave if you don't want to if we can help you. Some things we can't help with, but we can at least try. And that's what makes, you know, we've talked about family all day. That's what makes us a family. You help your family if you can. So just be aware that those emails are coming. Freshman Attendance-Based Initiative. Basically, we ask that all freshman courses report the absences. It doesn't mean that all courses have attendance policies, but we do ask that they report. That way we can try to keep up with these students. They are on their own for the first time, and everything's being thrown at them. Like Dr. Ellis said, they're drinking out of a fire hose even the first couple weeks of school. And they've got all this responsibility, no one to wake them up, no one to tell them where to go. They have a schedule in hand. They're kind of sure they know where stuff is. but they don't always show up, and they don't show up for a lot of reasons. So by reporting that, we have a strategy in place to reach out to those students to help them try to get back on track before it gets to be so terrible that they can't get back on track. If you have a scanner in your classroom, it will automatically report, but I'm not sure. Why can't I reach Ole Miss exactly? It says I can't reach that page. I prefer Google Chrome, so. This is through the faculty tab in my Ole Miss. If you have scanners in your classrooms, it's automatically going to report. If you aren't using the scanner, please make sure it's off. It will report, and if your students don't scan, they will all be absent, and it's quite chaotic. And if they ask me, and they say, my professor didn't tell me that I had to scan, I'm going to send them back to you. So you're gonna have 22, 24 students in your face asking why they've been reported absent all these times. So please, if you are gonna use the scanners, great. If you cancel class for a day, there's a way to go into the scanner and turn that off. So please turn that off. That way, again, it's accurate. It's accurate for your records, it's accurate for my records, and we're not having all this back and forth between me, you, and the student. Under course, yes?
Do you turn the scanner off if there is one in your classroom? Do you just turn it off completely?
You have to activate it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very active. If you want it on, you turn it on. If you don't, then you can turn it back off. I don't know if anyone's talked about attendance verification with anyone in other sessions, but that's another thing with financial aid. Some people will turn it on for verification and then turn it back off. But the biggest problem with that are the people who don't turn it off.
But you don't activate it at all? It won't
Shouldn't be
automatically
active.
activate it? Okay.
If you don't activate it, it shouldn't be active. You go into your class roles and search through the million. Go to attendance. It's at the very bottom. You can upload from a spreadsheet, or you can edit it using a web form. If you have the scanner on, you will not have access to this portion because the scanner is doing it for you. You can alert me that students are having other issues. There's excessive absences, missing assignments, poor performance. You know, we've all had that student, if you've taught this long enough, you've all had that student that comes to class and doesn't turn anything in. So you can flag them for that. They're there. It's not an absence issue, but it's still an issue. And what we do is we reach out, and we reach out in multiple ways. I partner with housing, Dean of Students Office, various areas across campus to get their attention. And we're bombarding them. And if they're having trouble in your class, and this is the class they should be most connected to, they're absolutely having trouble in at least one other class. So you do not have to alert me about absences. You can alert me about anything else that you want. And you can even do a custom note and enter text if you're just concerned. If you save this, the next time you open it, it'll have whatever you saved. So if after the first 2 weeks they had 2 absences, and then the third week they have another, you just add 1 to it and put a 3. I download this once a week, starting the 3rd week of classes, and start reaching out at that point. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So we need to do this like every week or every?
Like I said, I downloaded it on Monday. So if you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, I would do it after the Friday class.
Okay. So this is a little bit different than we just verified that, yeah, they
It's a step beyond
It's a step
verification.
beyond the, okay, yeah, they've been in class. for the
And this has
past
been
few
going
years.
on forever. We've always asked people to do this, but Dewey asked me to come talk and make sure that everybody was really on the same page.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
One more time, what is it that you're choosing to get that to come down? Freshman attendance phase?
Faculty, course administration, I went to class roles and grades. I submitted for the semester, and then attendance. And then again, if you have a scanner that you've activated in your room, you won't be able to do anything, but it's at the very bottom.
How do you activate your scanner?
I don't have that here where I can do that. IT has a really
just go to attendance and then you go activate one of the boxes?
If you have a scanner in your room, it'll have the option to do that. Deactivating it is not as obvious from what I understand.
Same thing, it's the same tab, just hit disable.
I've-
You can set like time range.
I've had people, I can't access what you guys can access if I don't have access to a scanner, so it kind of makes it hard. Yes, ma'am.
This is separate than the regular attendance verification
Yes.
for financial aid
Yes.
purposes. As a person who has to clear those, please make sure you're doing both, because if, it's just a mess. So it is two different systems.
Yes, well, now the scanner will do,
The scanner will do both. If you
Attendance
don't have a
verification.
scanner.
but yes, attendance verification is right here, one of the first tabs, so you need to make sure you also do that. I wasn't meaning to speak about that, but what happens is people get confused.
Yeah.
So, any questions? Yes?
So we used to have two things. One was where we could kind of track for ourselves attendance, kind of, and then there was another one we turned it into you when they had 3 or more absences. So has that kind of all been combined into one? And then,
Well, I mean, you can use the attendance for yourself, or,
yeah, there was
I
like
don't-
2 different things where you could go in and track. Like you could go, it's been gone a year or so, but like I remember we could go in like on a weekly, put how many in or whatever, or daily, I think it was. When you had classes, you could go and put in who was missing, who wasn't. And then
this has been the same interface. They've tweaked it, it looks a little more updated than it used to, but no, I don't know.
Attendance, it's very confusing. Attendance verification is done during the first 10 days or by the first 10 days. You have to verify the student has been to my class or not been to my class. Once they've been to your class, they've been to your class. The mistake that happens on attendance verification, somebody will verify that on Monday, Mary was here, and then Mary's not there on Tuesday, and they'll go back there and say she didn't show up. Once they come one time, then the feds say they're here, and they can pay it. We can pay aid to them. That's
Yeah, but if they showed up in that first 10 days, right, and then they never show up the rest of the semester, you can fail them with abandonment, right? And
that's
Yes.
a whole nother issue. That's when you get ready to, that's when you turn in final grades, and they'll ask you, did they abandon, or did they actually earn the F? And
But that would
say
take care of
they
that if they just showed up to verify and then never showed up again,
You're
right?
right, but you've got to verify one way or the other by the 10th day. And then this initiative that Jennifer runs, the FABI, is once somebody misses, in my situation, I teach on Tuesday, Thursday, once they hit 2, I'm gonna let her know. If it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, once they hit 3, I'm gonna let her know. And for a small class, and I'm probably not the most technologically proficient person, but for a small class where we're trying to learn names, as Mark was talking and others have talked about, you don't really need a scanner for 20 people or 16 people. You know, I think there's some merit to calling their name and looking at them in the eye and saying, good to see you today, yada, yada, yada. And you learn their names a lot faster too that way. So I think manually putting this in is pretty easy.
And there is a spreadsheet upload option that's relatively easy as well. So,
Okay.
Spreadsheet format.
I think it shows you how to do it.
Thank you. I have got a whole bunch of stuff that y'all been here a long time. Thank you for hanging in here. But I got a bunch of stuff I just need to go through. Patrick and Jordan are handing out 2 pieces of paper that if you'll follow along with me, I think we can get through it and get through it with some clarity. One thing I want to do while they're passing these out is I want to thank Patrick Perry, particularly Patrick Perry, Nancy Wiggers, Rachel Coleman, Jeremy Roberts, Mariana Rangel, Susan Nicholas, Mark Showalter, Audra Turnovac, and Rachel Durham for all they did on all of this wonderful training and workshops, the best I think regimen of them we've had since we started doing the professional development. What I want to do is go through the master calendar so I make sure I cover everything I need to cover as a reminder to myself. This calendar is in the instructor section of Blackboard under information. It's the top item. And every time I have an update to it, I'll go in there and update it, and I'll send you an email and say I've updated the master calendar. And so I want to kind of walk through that. Of course, everybody got one? One of both? Of course, we've got the training today that you're here. Tomorrow morning we have the VIA training on the new instrument we're going to use that replaces the Myers-Briggs. And just for FYI, the students will start moving in next week, and we have the welcome picnic on Saturday, August the 19th at 5:15 in the Grove, and there'll be a pep rally that follows. The 21st is the first day of classes. Please tag the Get Involved Fair, which will be in the Circle on the 22nd. Then on the 22nd will be Convocation. And all EDHE 105 and 305 students are expected to come to Convocation, as are their instructors. You will be given or receive from us next week the class coins that are distributed at a point in the program during Convocation. You will also receive from us tickets that have a row and a seat. Those tickets are not tickets to get in. The event is open to any student and anybody in the university community and anybody in the Oxford community for that matter. The tickets are designed to tell them where to go. There will be Columns Society ushers there to get them to the row and the section and the seat where they are to sit. And that's where you should be to meet them. We've had people try to meet their students and give them their tickets in the entryway to the pavilion. And that doesn't work. You got to give those out that first day or second day of class, because we only have one class meeting before they're expected to be at Convocation. So we'll get you the tickets, we'll get you the coins. The coins you'll actually pick up when you arrive at the pavilion, right in the entryway there. I'll be there and some of our other folks, and you'll pick up a bag of coins for your class or classes, and we'll put your tickets for if you're teaching more than one section, we'll put all your people together. And you'll pick the coins up when you arrive. I would tell your students to arrive at 6:30. The event starts at 7. They should arrive at 6:30. You should be there a little before 6:30 so you can pick your coins up from us and then go to where your students are going to meet you. Reminder that the dress for the occasion is church clothes. This is not flip-flops and t-shirts. This is a formal occasion. It's the first formal occasion of their career as a student at the university. So we'll get the tickets to you next week, and we'll send an email reminder about the protocol for the distribution of the coins and so forth and so on.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it possible for y'all to upload like the chart of where you have people? Because I know my group was on the floor last year and I didn't know where to tell them to go. And I just, besides the floor. So.
I'll try to get that out to y'all before the first day of class, right? Whether they're on the floor or they're up in the stands. August 28th through the 1st is Creed Week. There are 2 events that are firm in connection with that. On Monday the 28th, there'll be a presentation, and the location is yet to be determined, On the 28th at 7 p.m., Marion Lazan, who is a survivor of the Holocaust. She was in a German prison camp as a very small child. And the themes that they're trying to do, the ASB, with Creed Week this week, is they're taking each tenet of the creed. And the first one is, I believe in the respect for the dignity of each person. And of course, she experienced the absolute reverse of respect for each person from the Nazis. It's a very moving talk, and one that hopefully we'll have lots of our folks there. The Tuesday night of Creed Week, which is the 29th, in the Ford Center at 6 p.m., Ross Bork is going to do a talk on living the creed. It's the same talk he's done a couple of times before. And obviously, we'd like to have lots of people there because that's a big room.
Will that be a ticketed event?
Not a ticketed event. Moving through. That Friday, the 1st of September, that's the verification of attendance, which is done via My Ole Miss. You may have already done it, but that's the last day. And if you don't do it then I get a whole bunch of nasty emails from the registrar's office, and then I'll be sending that on to you. I think you get one too. The September 1st is the last day to drop or add a class, and that's when the bursar refund period ends. These are all things I put on here because you probably need to remind your students. September 2nd, 6:30 is the first football game. Always a exciting time. The Labor Day holiday is the 4th. God bless. Ford Center tours are available beginning Tuesday the 5th through Tuesday the 12th. And you can contact, as you see on there, Kate Meacham at that number if you want to arrange a tour for your class. Contrary to what I had told you previously, there will be Rebel Run again this year. It'll be at the second game of the season, which is the game with UT Martin on September the 9th. The run will be just prior to the kickoff, which is scheduled for 11 a.m. There is a registration, online registration. It's going to be limited to 2,000 students. And online registration, I'll be sending you verbiage this week so that you can inform your students about how to register to be a part of Rebel Run. The registration opens at Bradley 8 a.m. on the 14th. It'll be online. I'll send you the verbiage, and there's a link in the verbiage about how to get there for them to do it. And again, we didn't think that was going to happen, but it is. Beginning the 11th of September through the 12th, you'll have the library and the active shooter presentations. We'll have the list tomorrow to post on the instructors section of Blackboard, your date and time for each one of those, for your class to attend. I thought I would have it Friday, but it's going to be tomorrow. If you absolutely can't wait till sometime tomorrow, you can call Cecilia Parks at 5877, and she will tell you your times for both active shooter and library. Their Career Center will be having workshops, orientation, tours of their facility beginning on October 2nd And you can call to or contact EJ Presley at 7174. Midterm grades are due the 9th of October at 6 p.m. And remember, we are not using plus minus grades for either EDHE 105 or 305. You can see the Fall Family Weekend shortly thereafter. Again, I put Greek recruitment dates on here. That's important in the lives of our students, and you need to know what's going on with them. September 17th through 24th. For that, the Career Center picks up with some more opportunities for tours in late October there, October 30th through November 3rd. We've done this a couple of times, and I hope we'll have more. We have a little birthday celebration on the steps of the Lyceum on November 6th. November 6, 1848 is the day the university began its first session and the first students began class. And we have a little, at noon on November 6th, we have a little presentation, and then the students sing happy birthday to Ole Miss, and then the alma mater. It's kind of a neat thing. You see the last day of classes, final exams, and if Charlotte would hear, she'd want me to say this. There is an expectation that you give a final exam during the time that the registrar has set aside for your class. If it's 11 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever that time. Now, you may do it in the form of that's when they turn in a final paper or project, but we base our with IHL, we're supposed to provide 150 hours of contact with the student for a 3-hour credit course. And that includes 14 weeks of instruction and 1 week of final exams. So we need to do that. Now this is a bunch of housekeeping and reminders. If you flip over on the back, the Ole Miss Experience, the 7th edition, the one you have in your hands, I always think it's good for you to know what the price of the book is that your students are being asked to pay. It's $45.95, which is amazingly low when it comes to textbooks. For the EDHE 105 and $55.90 for the EDHE 305, which has a supplement, which I will get from Nautilus this week, and to the 20 people teaching the 20 sections of EDHE 305, we'll deliver to you the supplement. It just wasn't here to give you today. Your students were given a copy of the A Game and Just Mercy at orientation. I'm really excited about the next item there, the planners. We have a new University of Mississippi published planner this year, which I think y'all are going to really, really like. It will be very, very personalized to the university. All of the academic calendar dates, this day at Ole Miss in history, features throughout it, Ole Miss trivia, quotes from alumni, just a really quality product that we will be getting to you. They'll be here next week, so you'll have a supply of those to give to your students. In the past, I've always told my students if they were already using their own planner, I'd say fine. And I wouldn't give them one of what we referred to as the ASB planner. But this year I'm going to give one to every one of my students because I want them to bring it because of all the information, all that, this day in Ole Miss history, the trivia. It's all things of interest, and I'm going to have them all use that. They can use another planner for their daily notes, I guess, but I'm gonna use it kind of as a supplemental text. You may want to also. A reminder that we've got a whole lot of resources in our office on the 3rd floor of Martindale, and last year they didn't get used that much. We've got videos, photo scavenger hunt things, all kinds of information on all topics from time management to budgeting to you name it. And you can check, some of them you can just take and make copies right there, take them for yourself, or you could, some of the things that, the videos, you can check them out. We've got the undefeated video for Chucky Mullins, and all of those are available to you. And I encourage you to come and look and see what you might make use of in your class. And if you need copies, we've got a super deluxe copier there in our offices, and all you got to do is use that code 13017, and you can make as many copies as you need for your class, especially for folks who are not working out of an office on campus. Reminder, you need to set your Blackboard options. In other words, enable Blackboard for your section. You have to proactively do that, and you do that in My Ole Miss under class grades and roles. Or roles and grades, I can't remember which one it is. Whatever it is, it'll say set Blackboard options, and you click on that for your section, and then you punch a button to say enable, and then it'll automatically sync with SAP for the people enrolled in your class. Of course, we've got the instructor's course in Blackboard. Patrick has moved a whole lot of resources from all these workshops and other things into the faculty development workshop resources. I've got a whole lot of stuff under the information column, the sample syllabus, some samples of the syllabus, the model syllabi, and then we gave you a couple of examples of how they can be customized. Really the only two elements from that model that must be in every syllabus is the learning objectives and the core curriculum that's spelled out. And one thing we may have to do, and I'll know this for sure this week, and I'll communicate it to you, we have previously been under the Department of Leadership and Counselor Education in the School of Education. Well, the School of Education is establishing, it's already been approved by HL, a Department of Higher Education. And all the higher ed courses, all the EDHEs at undergraduate and graduate level will be under that department now. We won't be part of leadership and counselor education. So your syllabus is going to need to reflect that as the department, not the Department of Leadership and Counselor Education. And that's on the model right now. I know I've been waiting to change it until I heard from Dean Rock and Dr. Wells Dolan, and I'll know that, but that's probably going to happen because I need you folks to send me a copy of your syllabus by the 10th day of the classes, which is September 1st. Just email it as an attachment, and I will get you if we need to change the department name on this. 2017 is our SACS accreditation year, and we're using it for that year. So everything has got to be squeaky perfect, including the right department on the syllabus for the course that we're teaching. You need to establish a cell phone policy in your class. Very important. One of the things we really need to be sensitive to, if you, through conversation, meeting individually with students, you've got a student that's been absent and you reached out and you've had some email correspondence with them, or you find issues that you observe, or they tell you about it in a journal, which they're going to do, you may or not may, you need to report that situation to Now, Mindy, I'm gonna mess this up. It's not the Dean of Students office. Now, what's the office it goes to?
Office of Leadership and Advocacy.
Office of Leadership and Advocacy, and there is, on the website, and is it under the Dean of Students website?
You can actually go to the website, it's UMatter, UMatter.olemiss.edu, and you can submit a report.
This is a student of concern is the way it's referred to. And Kate Forrester will get those, and we need to make the awareness of this situation known so that proper interventions and actions can be taken. So that's when we really depend on you for that, because you know probably better than any other person on this campus what's going on with those students that are in your charge. One thing when you go through the syllabus, you really need to underscore is the requirement that we report any information that we become aware of relative to sexual abuse or anything along those lines, Title IX coverage issues. We have to report those. And it's very important that you make the students aware, because you may they write a journal to you. They tell you about something that happened, and they think it's between you and them. But when it comes to those type issues, we don't have any choice. Federal legislation mandates it. We report it to the office here. So keep that in mind. One of the things that a lot of times we don't think about, we have a food bank on campus up in Kennard that's available for students who might be having a little bit of a hard time. We don't run into this that much with our freshmen, but with transfer students, sometimes we do. They're living off campus, and they may have financial stresses, and we've got some resources in the way of food for that.
Hey, Huey,
Yeah.
can I interrupt for just a second? Kind of make an announcement. I work for the Sarah Ison Center. We're on the 3rd floor of this building, and we have soft opened a personal needs pantry. So feminine hygiene products, we're also going to be collecting like small things of shampoo, deodorant, that kind of thing that's kind of not in the normal food pantry, that will be available on the 3rd floor of this building in the Sarah Ison Center. So.
Thank you. One of the things I think it's kind of nebulous for freshmen that they want to have a goal and they want some kind of measurement or recognition for their success. Phi Eta Sigma is the freshman honor society, honor fraternity, which recognizes those freshmen who achieve academic success, good, high academic success in their first semester here. It's top 10%, right, Patrick? And the top 10% of students in the freshman class who are in that top 10 GPA-wise, they are extended an invitation to become members of Phi Eta Sigma. And I usually tell my students about that. I did something stupid one year and told them that if they made a 3.5 or higher, which is what I thought it was, they would get in it. Well, that year, the top 10% was higher than 3.5. It was like 3.55. And I had one of the young ladies in my class come to me and say, well, I didn't get in, and you told me I was. I still feel bad about that, and that was 5 years ago. But giving them a goal for recognition is, I think, something that's valuable. So I just tagged that for you. I'll be available to do historic tours of the campus and the square. It's kind of hard to do the square because you have to do it after 5 o'clock. There's some transportation issues, but I'll do it and have done it. If you'll just call me, there's my extension. I'll be glad to find a time to do it for you. Also, it was mentioned earlier, don't forget about Jennifer Stolman in the William Winter, Center for Racial Reconciliation. She does an incredible job on race, diversity, and so forth. Another resource, and she's very open to doing those presentations for your classes. One thing I'll just make you aware of, we are in the process of getting final approval for a new course that we're going to roll out in the spring of 2018, EDHE106, Advancing the First Year Experience. It'll be a 3-hour graded course, and there are going to certain student populations, constituencies that will take the course automatically. But the course is designed to first give us a true first-year experience. We, like most universities, we say we have a first-year experience, and we really have a first semester experience. This will give us a full first-year experience, and it's designed for students who, they may be in good standing after the first semester. They made a 2.0, wow. But they're not really where they need to be for long-term success. And they need that underpinning and a little hand-holding and advocacy and throughout into that second semester. And so we will have a course, and one of the things we're asking of you is for you to let us know if you have a student who was successful to a degree, but you know that they are probably still very much at risk and need the support that a second semester success course would afford them. And if you have students, we want you to let us know who they are, and we're going to reach out there very intentionally, and it won't be required, but we're going to strongly encourage them to take the course. It will also be available for people who didn't take EDHE105 but realized I should have taken EDHE105, because every year we have 15, 20, 25, 30 students, and most particularly their parents, saying, my child didn't take EDHE105, can they take it in the second semester? And that's no. But we will have this 106 in place, so that would be an option for a student that was in that, that situation. And then finally, remember to send out an introductory email next week, particularly underscoring that, hey, August 22nd, the second day of classes, you're going to be expected to go to fall convocation. So don't plan otherwise. And just welcome them to the class and so forth. Y'all have been great. Any questions? I mean, I just ran through that like
one quick question that maybe only applies to me. What about the students that are going to sign up on the orientation on the 16th? Do we need to, they're not going to be in our section, they're not going to be on our roll.
Right. We will let them know that they have been, because they'll be, everybody, you see the sections, and a lot of your sections are closed because they got 24 in them, and I tried to keep them at 24. Few have 25. But we've got some sections down there in the 120s and 30s down at the bottom of the course schedule that have openings, and we will be putting in all of the we automatically enroll every incoming freshman in EDHE 105 if they go to August orientation. We tell them about it through email communication, tell them they don't have to, they can drop it, but we don't want them to drop it. We want them to take the course. So we've got about, right now it's standing, looks like about 200 freshmen, a little over it's about 240, what is it, Jennifer? 233 that'll be coming in August for August orientation, and we'll place those other 233, which again is, it's going to put us between EDHE105 and 305. We're going to be looking at about 3,600, 3,700 students this fall taking our courses. And that's all because of what you do. I am so honored to be involved with y'all in this endeavor. He kind of glossed over, but Mark started this a long time ago, and when it started, we had 5 sections and 120 students. Now we have 156 sections and about 3,600 students, which is pretty amazing. And it's because of the dedication of y'all. So thank you.